back around here. Share this. Oh. All right. Happy Sabbath. Welcome back for another study. We're doing the book of Jubilees. We finished chapter 32 last time. I'm Lee. This is a scripture study. If I get anything right, praise Yah. If I get anything wrong, that's my fault. So feel free to leave a comment, and or if I miss anything and you want to share, that way I can learn too. I don't know everything, so, and I would be very skeptical of someone that said they know every single thing in Scripture. Yeah. So Jubilees, the Book of Divisions, is what it was called way back when, but now it's called the Book of Jubilees. So, chapter 24, and it came to pass after the death of Abraham that Yahuwah blessed Isaac his son, and he arose from Hebron and went and dwelt at the well of the vision in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, 7 years. And in the first year of the fourth week, a famine began in the land, besides the first famine which had been in the days of Abraham. So there's a famine, and there's 7 years. That number 7 sticks out a lot in Scripture. And Jacob sowed lentil pottage. So there was a famine. He sowed lentil pottage, and Esau came from the field hungry. And he said to Jacob his brother, give me of this red pottage. And Jacob said to him, sell to me thy birthright, and I will give thee bread and also some of this lentil pottage. And Esau said in his heart, I shall die, of what profit to me is this birthright? And he said to Jacob, I give it to thee. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And Jacob gave his brother Esau bread and pottage, and he ate till he was satisfied. And Esau despised his birthright. For this reason was Esau's name called Edom, on account of the red pottage which Jacob gave him for his birthright. So it's interesting that God didn't care that there was a famine in the land. He cared that Esau despised his birthright. So I think many people would say, oh, there's a famine in the land, this is okay. You know, there's a famine, you know, of course Esau did this so he could survive. But that's not how God sees it. He despised his birthright. And Jacob became the elder, and Esau was brought down from his dignity. And I don't see a lot of people make that correlation between the famine and the birthright being sold so he could eat. I'm not sure if that's in Genesis or not. Genesis 24. Might not be preserved in the Dead Sea Scrolls. 29, maybe it's later. Esau. Nope. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, it's not the Dead Sea Scrolls. So Genesis 25. He's got a note here, don't he? 26:11. 25:3 to the will. So 26. No, that's well before. Happy Sabbath, Rachel. Hope you're having a good Sabbath. Esau was 40 years old. You know, I better look it up. Unless somebody can tell me where that's at real quick. Esau. It may be in Genesis. Genesis 25:34. I'm way off. 25:34. And Jacob cooked pottage. Yeah, so here, the birth of Esau and Jacob, it doesn't tell that there was a, yeah, he came from the plain fainting. Okay, so this is a, Esau said, behold, I am going to die. For what good does this birthright belong to me? So Esau is starving from the famine, which you don't get in the book of Genesis, you only get in the book of Jubilees. That's why Esau sold his birthright. That's a big missing piece. Doesn't justify it, but it's going to say Genesis 25. Yep. And the famine was over the land, and Isaac departed to go down into Egypt in the 2nd year of this week, and went to the king of the Philistines to Gerar unto Abimelech. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said unto him, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land that I shall tell thee of, and sojourn in this land, and I shall be with thee and bless thee. For to thee and to thy seed shall I give this land, and I shall establish my oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I shall multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and shall give unto thy seed all this land. And in thy seed will all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thy father obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, and my commandments, and my laws, and my ordinances, and my covenant, and now obey my voice, and dwell in this land. And he dwelt in Gerar 3 weeks of years. And Abimelech charged concerning him, and concerning all that was his, saying, Any man that shall touch him, or aught that is his, shall surely die. And Isaac waxed strong among the Philistines, and he got many possessions, oxen and sheep, camels and asses, and a great household. And he sowed in the land of the Philistines, and brought in 100-fold. And Isaac became exceedingly great, and the Philistines envied him. Now all the wells which the servants of Abraham had dug during the life of Abraham, the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. Gotta love that old English. And Isaac departed thence in the 1st year of the 7th week, and sojourned in the valleys of Gerar. And they digged again the wells of water which the servants of Abraham his father had digged, and which the Philistines had closed after the death of Abraham his father. And he called their names as Abraham his father had named them. And the servants of Isaac dug a well in the valley, and found living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Isaac, saying, the water is ours. And Isaac called the name of the well Perversity, because they had been perverse with us. And they dug a 2nd well, and they strove for that also, and he called its name Enmity. And he arose from thence, and they digged another well, and for that they strove not, and he called the name of it Room. And Isaac said, Now Yahuwah hath made room for us, and we have increased in the land. And he went up from thence to the well of the oath in the 1st year of the 1st week, in the 44th Jubilee. And Yahuwah appeared to him that night on the new month, or 1st day of the 1st month, and said unto him, I am the God of Abraham thy father. So he appeared on a feast day, 1st day of the 1st month. Fear not, for I am with thee, and shall bless thee, and shall surely multiply thy seed as the sand of the earth, for the sake of Abraham my servant. And he built an altar there, which Abraham his father had first built. And he called upon the name of Yahuwah, and he offered sacrifice to the God of Abraham his father. And they digged a well, and they found living water. And the servants of Isaac digged another well, and did not find water. And they went and told Isaac that they had not found water. And Isaac said, I have sworn this day to the Philistines, and this thing hath been announced to us. And he called the name of that place the well of the oath. For there he had sworn to Abimelech, and to Ahuzzath his friend, and Phicol the prefect of his host. And Isaac knew that day that under constraint he had sworn to them to make peace with them. So it's interesting, they found living water. So here the Messiah said, John chapter 4, Then cometh he to the city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near to the parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. And now Jacob's well was there. Yahusha therefore, being wearied with his journey, sat thus on the well. And it was about the 6th hour. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahushua saith unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, askest drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. You read 2 Kings 17, that the king of Assyria sent replacement people to replace northern kingdom of Israel. That's what she's talking about. Those dwelling in Samaria. So they were separate. Yahushua answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? So they're calling Jacob their father, but the account in Kings says they came from Assyria. They were replaced northern Israel, so Jacob's not their father. But it's so far down the line of tradition that they believe that Jacob's their father. Yahushua answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up unto everlasting life. The woman saith unto him, Sir, give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yahushua saith unto her, Go, call thy husband, and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast said well, or well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that said thou truly. So if anybody would say that today, they would be, it would be not be received well. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and you say, again, she's attributing it to their fathers. It's not their lineage, but by tradition, they think it's their fathers. Worshipped in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. You'll see that in here, that the Samaritan Torah, it has been edited, and you can see from the Dead Sea Scrolls that the original reading said that the place where God places his name is in Jerusalem. Well, the Samaritans edited it, and the Dead Sea Scrolls proves it's a forgery, that they say Mount Gerizim is the place that he chose, which is not correct. So her lineage worshipped on this mountain, so that could be correct. But this is the correct place, right? You say that it's in Jerusalem. Yahushua saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when you shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. So Mount Gerizim was a place of worship, but the chosen place was Jerusalem. And after Jerusalem's destroyed, the rest of Israel scattered. That's what he's talking about here, I believe. You worship, you know not what. We worship what we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Yahudim, not Jews. But the hour cometh, and it now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is spirit, they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. And Paul tells us the law is spiritual, so that's in spirit, and the truth. The law is the truth. Psalms. That's Hebrew parallelism. They say it one time and they say it again to nail down the meaning. In our thinking, we see this and we go, okay, it's 2 different things. That's not how Hebrew works. So the Messiah spoke Hebrew. That's what it's cultural context. That's what he's speaking. The woman saith unto him, I know that the Messiah cometh. She doesn't even realize he's Messiah, which is called Christ. When he is come, the anointed one. That's what Christ is, the anointed one. When he is come, he will tell us all things. Yahushua saith unto her, I that speak unto thee am he. So he says, I'm the Messiah. Yep, law equals spirit and truth. Yep. We get our Greek, Roman thinking, how we look at things does not match the ancient mindset of how the Hebrews looked at things. It's actually most of the time when we look at something, it's a complete opposite of what it is. So I know, because I have to struggle with that too. Notice Genesis 26:32, the Masoretic text does not read not. But the LXX agrees with our text in so reading. It is implied here that their failure to find water was due to the covenant made with Abimelech. So, Masoretic text was edited. Jubilees preserves an accurate reading, and the LXX agrees. It does not mean the LXX is superior, because it has stuff that's been twisted. But here it agrees with Jubilees. So, and Isaac on that day cursed the Philistines and said, Cursed be the Philistines unto the day of wrath and indignation from the midst of all the nations. May God make them a derision and a curse and an object of wrath and indignation in the hands of the sinners, the Gentiles, and in the hands of the ch.24-26. That's the Romans. Looks like this came to pass. And Isaac is a righteous, holy man, a priest. He can do this. We can't do this. And whosoever escapeth the sword of the enemy and the ch.24, may the righteous nation root out in judgment from under heaven. That's when the Messiah returns. The righteous nation, Israel. For they will be made the enemies and the foes of my children throughout their generations upon the earth. And David kicked their tail too. But the ch.24 is later. So the sinners of the Gentiles and the ch.24, the Romans, that's after David. And no remnant will be left to them, nor will one that will be saved on the day of the wrath of judgment. For destruction and rooting out and expulsion from the earth is the whole seed of the Philistines reserved. And there will no longer be left for these, Caphtorim, a name or a seed on the earth. And if he said it, that's a holy man of God. That's what it's going to be. They're going to be wiped out, gone. They're probably still hanging around here somewhere, but when this happens, they're gone. For though he ascended to heaven, thence will he be brought down. And though he make himself strong on the earth, thence will he be dragged forth. And though he hide himself amongst the nations, that's interesting. Who's doing that? Even from thence will he be rooted out. And though he descend into Sheol, and I would say a lot of those secret, whatchamacallits, they do everything in the darkness. Their lineage probably goes back to Philistines, Canaanites, all those wicked nations. Even from thence will he be rooted out, and though he descend into Sheol, there also will his condemnation be great, and there also he will have no peace. And that's when he dies. He descends into Sheol. And if he go into captivity, by the hands of those that seek his life will they slay him on the way. And neither name nor seed will be left to him on all the earth. For into eternal malediction will he depart, and thus it is written and engraved concerning him on the heavenly tablets, to do unto him on the day of judgment, so that he may be rooted out of the earth. So Isaac cursed the Philistines, and then he says, oh yeah, also it's on the heavenly tablets. So it's written in heaven, it's going to happen. Psalm 19, yeah, that's a beautiful psalm. The law, yeah. Like, was this ever done away with? Heaven forbid say anybody says this is done away with. The law of Yahuwah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yahuwah is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahuwah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahuwah is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yahuwah is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yahuwah are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold, sweeter also than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned. He tells you why. Here's how you keep Sabbath. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. That's a warning. And in keeping of them, there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. You have to look at his word to understand your errors. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright. See, it's in Yah's power. He gives us the power. We just have to be obedient. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. So then I shall be upright. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. And it's not what man says is acceptable. When we say something and people say, that's good, or we say something that, no, that's not, I don't agree with you, that's not good. It's what God says. So if we're saying what God said and he said it's good, it's good. That means he's happy with it. It's acceptable in Yah's sight. Philistines originally came from Caphtor according to Amos 9:7, Deuteronomy 2:23, Jeremiah 47:4. That's proof we're in Rome. See Roman numerals? We're still in Rome. Amos 9:2. Let me go look at that. I saw Yahuwah standing upon the altar. He says, smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. Though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. Though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. And I don't know why I didn't pull this up. Might not even be in here. The scrolls. So 5. Though they go into captivity before their enemies, there I will command the sword, and it will kill them. I will set my eyes on them for evil and not for good. For Yahuwah, for the Master or Lord, Yahuwah of armies, is he who touches the land and it melts, and all who dwell in it mourn, and it will rise up wholly like the river, and will sink again like the river of Egypt. It is he who builds his rooms in the heavens, and has founded his vault on the earth. He who calls for the waters of the sea, and pours them out on the surface of the earth. Yahuwah is his name. Are you not like the children of the Ethiopians to me, children of Israel? Says Yahuwah, having I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor. Ooh. It is in there. And the Syrians from Kir. Behold, the eyes of the Lord, Yahuwah, are on the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the surface of the earth, except that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, says Yahuwah. For behold, I command, and I will sift the house of Israel, among all the nations, as grain is sifted in a sieve, yet not the least kernel will fall to the earth. All the sinners of my people will die by the sword. We're going to have to repent to make it into the kingdom, people. Breaking God's law is not a good look, put it that way. He just said it right there. All the sinners of my people will die by the sword. Who say evil won't overtake nor meet us. That's serious. In that day I'll raise up the tent of David who is fallen, and close up its breaches, and I'll raise up its ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. So he's going to flip it around. Edom plundered Israel all through the scriptures, trying to get his birthright back. And all the nations who are called by my name, says Yahuwah, who does this. Behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the one treading grapes him that sows the seed. And sweet wine will drip from the mountains and flow from the hills. So it's interesting, sowing the seed of the word now. Some people receive it and bring forth fruit, some don't, and the grapes get tread in the winepress of the wrath of God. Revelation. So the plowman will overtake the reaper, or the one reaping seed or crops. The one treading grapes overtake him who sows seed. I will bring my people Israel back from captivity, and they will rebuild the ruined cities and inhabit them, and they will plant vineyards and drink wine from them. They shall also make gardens and eat their fruit. I will plant them on their land, and they will no more be plucked up out of their land which I have given them, says Yahuwah your God. Oh, that would be great. That would be so great. So that's the end. Amos 9. Pull up here. I don't know why I didn't go to the Samaritan Torah, but whatever. That's not it. Sometimes you get lost in the sauce. This is a lot of scriptures. So, yep, that's awesome. That's an awesome promise. He said it, it will happen. Jubilees 25. And in the second year of this week, in this Jubilee, Rebekah called Jacob, her son, and spake unto him, saying, My son, do not take thee a wife of the daughters of Canaan, as Esau thy brother, who took him 2 wives of the daughters of Canaan, and they have embittered my soul with all their unclean deeds. So there's got to be unclean deeds and clean deeds for this to be accurate. For all their deeds are fornication and lust, and there is no righteousness with them, for their deeds are evil. What's evil? And I, my son, love thee exceedingly, and my heart and my affection bless thee every hour of the day and watch of the night. And now, my son, hearken to my voice, and do the will of thy mother, and do not take thee a wife of the daughters of this land, but only of the house of my father and my father's kindred. Thou wilt take thee a wife of the house of my father, and the Most High God will bless thee, and thy children will be a righteous generation and a holy seed. And then spake Jacob to Rebekah. So for them to be a righteous generation and a holy seed, they have to be righteous and holy. There's wicked and evil, and there's righteous and holy. There's no gray area in Scripture. Said unto her, Behold, mother, I am 9 weeks of years old, and I neither know nor have I touched any woman. Who could say that? Nor have I betrothed to myself any, nor even think of taking a wife of the daughters of Canaan. So he didn't even think about it. That's a righteous man. For I remember, mother, the words of Abraham our father, for he commanded me not to take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, so Abraham, but to take a wife from the seed of my father's house and from my kindred. And these holy prophets and stuff, they knew what was up. Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Levi, Amram, Kohath, Moses, they knew what was up. They didn't have to guess, oh, is that right? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Just believe in Jesus. No, they knew this is right, this is wrong. This is how you walk, this is how you don't walk. I have heard before that daughters have been born to Laban, thy brother, and I have set my heart on them to take a wife from amongst them. And for this reason I have guarded myself in my spirit against sinning and being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life. For this reason I have guarded myself in my spirit against sinning or being corrupted in all my ways throughout all the days of my life. That's Jacob. For with regard to lust and fornication, Abraham my father gave me many commands. And despite all that he hath commanded me, these 22 years my brother hath striven with me. So his brother's, 22 years his brother's trying to get him to fornicate. And he's like, nope, nope. And spoken frequently to me and said, My brother, take to wife a sister of my 2 wives. But I refuse to do as he hath done. I swear before thee, mother, that all the days of my life I will not take me a wife from the daughters of the seed of Canaan, and I will not act wickedly as my brother hath done. Fear not, mother, be assured that I shall do thy will and walk in uprightness, and not corrupt my ways forever. Walk in uprightness, yep. Thereupon she lifted up her face to heaven, and extended the fingers of her hands, and opened her mouth, and blessed the Most High God, who had created the heaven and the earth. And she gave him thanks and praise. And also, So here, see where it says, corrupted all my ways. See, ways, that's the key word there. Let me highlight that so I don't forget where I'm at. So, there's two ways, that's it, in Scripture. Here is a New Testament Bible verse that says, Acts 24, but this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and the prophets. That's the way of life, God's law. Anything that contradicts is error. Go. And it was all the way with the patriarchs too. It's not new. 2 Peter 2:21, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. And that happens a lot. We get on fire for the faith, and we're like, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then after a while, the spirits creep in, and people creep in, like, oh, you're too zealous, or you're a legalist, or show some grace and mercy, or any number of things to knock you off the path. The grace and mercy comes from doing God's law, keeping God's commandments. It's not backwards. You don't do grace and mercy and neglect the law. That's backwards. And it's all through scriptures too. So if you go to so following, they've forsaken the right way, 2 Peter here, are gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Bosor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness. The right way, righteousness; the wrong way, unrighteousness. Proverbs 15:19, the way of the slothful man is a hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. Psalm 1:6, for Yahuwah knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Isaiah 57:14, and shall say, cast you up, prepare the way, take up the stumbling block out of the way of my people. What's the stumbling block? That's disobedience. Get it up, get rid of it. Quit doing this or start doing this. Whatever aligns with God's word. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Ezekiel 33, yet the children of the people say, the way of Yahuwah is not equal, but as for them, their way is not equal. That's a direct rebuke. In some more places too. The way. Scripture's written that way so that the ones who know, and the ones who don't. Isaiah, 26? Precept on precept, line on line. Romans 3:17, in the way of peace have they not known. So he's talking about God's law, the way of peace. Psalm 119:14, I have rejoiced in the way of thy testimonies as much as in all riches. My way perfect. Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. The way of lying, grant me thy law graciously. So the opposite of his law is also lying. Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way. See? If it's not his precepts and his law, it's a false way. Anyway, you can go on and on and on with that. So, and she said, blessed be Yahuwah God, and may his holy name be blessed forever and ever, who hath given me Jacob as a pure son and a holy seed. That's a big statement. I'm pretty sure nobody could say that. I know I couldn't. For he is thine, not that I'm not striving to be that. There's a difference. For he is thine, and thine shall his seed be continually, and throughout all the generations forevermore. Bless him, O Yahuwah, and place in my mouth the blessing of righteousness, that I may bless him. And at that hour, when the spirit of righteousness descended into her mouth, she placed both her hands on the head of Jacob and said, Blessed art thou, Yahuwah of righteousness, and God of the ages, or Master of righteousness. And may he bless thee beyond all generations of men. God of all the ages. There's different ages for creation. It's not just one age from beginning to end. There's an age, another age, another age. Enoch 93. May he give thee, my son, the path of righteousness, and reveal righteousness to thy seed. See, God's got to do it. You can argue till you're blue in the face, debate someone till you're blue in the face. If God don't do it, no matter. And may he make thy sons many during thy life, and may they arise according to the number of the months of the year. 12 months. There goes that 13 month out the window. Submission to Yahuwah is the only true way to believe. Yep, because our flesh doesn't want it. We like doing what we think's right, not what he thinks is right. He tells us this is right, this is wrong. Yep. He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Israel. Psalm 103:7. And may their sons become many and great beyond the stars of heaven, and their numbers be more than the sand of the sea. That's the blessing for Abraham there. And may he give them this goodly land, as he said he would give it to Abraham and to his seed after him always. And may they hold it as a possession forever. Be cool to see Abraham in the kingdom. All of his descendants. That'd be cool. May I see born unto thee, my son, blessed children during my life. And Abraham came from, so obviously Noah's going to be there. Adam's going to be there. Enoch's going to be there. So Abraham came from them, so this is going to be their descendants too. May I see born unto thee, my son, blessed children during my life, and a blessed and holy seed may all thy seed be. And as thou hast refreshed thy mother's spirit during my life, the womb of her that bare thee blesseth thee. My affection and my breast bless thee, and my mouth and my tongue praise thee greatly. Increase and spread over the earth, and may thy seed be perfect in the joy of heaven and earth forever. And may thy seed rejoice, and on the day of peace may it have peace. That's when he returns. No sin. He wipes it out. And may thy name and thy seed endure to all the ages. May the Most High God be their God, and may the God of righteousness dwell with them. And by them may his sanctuary be built unto all the ages. That's interesting. God of righteousness will dwell with them. All right. I'm thinking Revelation. Isaiah 33:14. Sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? That's when he returns. He that walks righteously and speaks uprightly. He that despiseth the gain of oppression, that shaketh his hands from holding bribes, that stoppeth his ears of hearing of blood, and shuts his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be the munitions of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His water shall be sure. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty. They shall behold the land that is very far off. And just continues on. I think all the way up to Isaiah 35, end times, and then it switches 36, and then it switches back. So, but yeah. And the people shall be as burnings of lime, as thorns cut up, shall they be burned in the fire. Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and you that are near acknowledge my might. It's going to be wild. That's what I was looking for. Revelation 21:3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. He will dwell with them. They shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. God of righteousness dwell with them. The God of righteousness doesn't dwell around unrighteousness. And by them, so I guess the elect, by them may his sanctuary be built unto all the ages. That's interesting. Or, New Jerusalem comes down, so them inhabiting and doing the work of the sanctuary, so that could be the built part there. Blessed be he that blessed thee, and all flesh that cursed thee falsely, may it be accursed, may it be cursed. Careful what you say, it better be true. He don't like that stuff. And she kissed him and said to him, May Yahuwah of the world love thee, as the heart of thy mother, and her affection rejoice in thee, and bless thee. And she ceased from blessing. See, that's amazing. There's just a ton in there, just from the holy people speaking a blessing or a prayer. You can glean so much. So Genesis 27. I don't know how to read that yet. Variant reading here is Holy Spirit. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's at. 138:2. Luke 155. That's interesting. What's it say? As he spake to our fathers, to Abraham, and to his seed forever. Oh, yeah. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, the oath which he sware to our father Abraham, that he would grant unto us that we, being delivered out of the hand of our enemies, might serve him without fear. How do we serve him? In holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life. And this child here shall be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of Yahuwah to prepare his ways. So this is God's ways. What's God's ways? To give knowledge of salvation unto his people by the remission of their sins. To give knowledge. Knowledge ain't such a bad thing, is it? Through the tender mercy of our God, whereby the day spring from on high hath visited us. To give light, the law is light, to them that sit in darkness and the shadow of death, to guide our feet in the way of peace. We already seen what the way of peace is. Biblical definitions only, not man's interpretations. He gave them light. He gave them a flashlight or a candle. Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. That's the biblical definition. He wasn't talking about a flashlight or a candle. Proverbs 6:23, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instructions are the way of life. The way, the law, the light, commandment, the lamp is life. So 26. Okay, so we're at 26 now. Let's take a read one more. Let's see what's in Genesis here. Yeah, a good bit's missing from 27 to 32 in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, lots missing. That's unfortunate. So it's Samaritan Pentateuch. Even though it's not perfect, there's some issues. It's got some earlier readings that are good, so I do use that. 28. So Genesis 28, and Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, well, let's not go that far. Let's go 27. So that's where he went and catch venison. Yep. So too many tabs. 26 will be. Oh, it does say famine in the land. Genesis 26, there was a famine in the land besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, and to Gerar. So you do get that in the canon. So there's a famine. That's what Esau was doing. So he was starving. That's the reason he ate the food. But still, you lose your birthright with God for food. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt, dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of, sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee, and unto thy seed, I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swore unto Abraham thy father, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham your father obeyed my voice, kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. So he kept commandments, he kept statutes, he kept his laws. Abraham kept alive. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place asked him of his wife, and he said, She is my sister. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest, said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah. So the same thing that happened to Abraham in Egypt in the Dead Sea Scrolls happened to Isaac. He feared that they would take his wife, because she was fair to look upon. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. So they were righteous men, and they still had a pretty woman. That's good. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety she is thy wife, and how saidst thou, She is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, Lest I die for her. And Abimelech said, What is this thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have lain with thy wife, and thou shouldst have brought guiltiness upon us. I wish they would just abandon Old English. People don't speak that. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Then Isaac sowed in that land, and received in the same year 100-fold. And Yahuwah blessed him, and the man waxed great, and went forward, and grew until he became very great. For he had possessions of flocks, and possessions of herds, and a great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. And for all, that's the commandment, you're not supposed to do that. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged, servants of Abraham his father. For the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley, and found there a well of springing water. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Isaac, because they strove with him. And they digged another well, and strove for that also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now Yahuwah hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. And he went up from thence to Beersheba, and Yahuwah appeared unto him in the same night, and said, I am the God of Abraham thy father. So this is interesting. It doesn't say the first day of the first month, like Jubilees does. Fear not, for I am with thee, and will bless thee, and multiply thy seed for my servant Abraham's sake. And he built an altar there, called upon the name of Yahuwah, and pitched his tent there, and there Isaac's servants digged a well. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzeth, one of his friends, and Phicol, the chief captain of the army. And Isaac said unto them, Wherefore come you to see me, seeing ye hate me, and have sent me away from you? And they said, We saw certainly that Yahuwah was with thee, and we said, Let there be now an oath betwixt us, even betwixt us and thee, and let us make a covenant with thee, that thou wilt do us no hurt, as we have not touched thee, as we have done unto thee nothing but good, and have sent thee away in peace. Thou art now the blessed of Yahuwah. And he made them a feast, and they did eat and drink, and they rose up. Now that's interesting, the timing. The first day of the first month, and then he's doing an altar and a sacrifice. He's keeping a feast day. And swore to one another, and Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. And it came to pass the same day that Isaac's servants came and told him concerning the well which they had digged, and said unto him, We have found water. And he called it Sheba. Therefore the name of the city is Beersheba unto this day. And Esau was 40 years old when he took to wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Bashemath, the daughter of Elon the Hivite, which were a grief of mind unto Isaac and to Rebekah. So he caused his parents grief, which you're supposed to honor your parents. So Esau was not doing that either. Let's see how far down this is. Yeah, I can go with that. We'll go ahead and do 26. So Jubilees 26, in the 7th year of this week, Isaac called Esau his elder son, and said unto him, I am old, my son, and behold, my eyes are dim in seeing, and I know not the day of my death. And now take thy hunting weapons, thy quiver, and thy bow, and go out to the field, and hunt and catch me venison, and my son, and make me savory meat, such as my soul loveth, and bring it to me that I may eat, and that my soul may bless thee before I die. But Rebekah heard Isaac speaking to Esau, and Esau went forth early to the field to hunt and catch and bring home to his father. And Rebekah called Jacob her son, and said unto him, Behold, I heard Isaac thy father speak unto Esau thy brother, saying, Hunt for me, and make me savory meat, and bring it to me, that I may eat and bless thee before Yahuwah, before I die. And now, my son, obey my voice in that which I command thee. Go to thy flock, and fetch me 2 good kids of the goats, and I'll make them savory meat for thy father, such as he loveth, and thou shalt bring it to thy father, that he may eat and bless thee before Yahuwah, before he die, and that thou mayest be blessed. And Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, Mother, I shall not withhold anything which my father would eat, and which would please him, only I fear, my mother, that he will recognize my voice, and wish to touch me, and thou knowest that I am smooth, and Esau my brother is hairy, and I shall appear before his eyes as an evildoer, and shall do a deed which he has not commanded me, and he will be wroth with me, and I shall bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. So Jacob knew very well what could happen, but he had already been blessed by Abraham before this, so the blessing was on him. And Rebekah his mother said unto him, Upon me be thy curse, my son, only obey my voice. So his mother took the curse upon herself if he got cursed, because she knew Jacob was the one that needed the blessing. As Abraham said before, they were both wiser than Isaac so far. So there's not a deed that's on Jacob. And Jacob obeyed the voice of Rebekah his mother, and went and fetched 2 good and fat kids of the goats, and brought them to his mother. And his mother made them savory meat, such as he loved. And Rebekah took the goodly raiment of Esau her elder son, which was with her in the house, and she clothed Jacob her younger son, and she put the skins of the kids upon his hands, and on the exposed parts of his neck. And she gave the meat and the bread which she had prepared into the hand of her son Jacob. And Jacob went in to his father, and said, I am thy son, I have done according as thou badest me. Arise and sit, and eat of that which I have caught, father, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac said to his son, How hast thou found so quickly, my son? And Jacob said, Because Yahuwah thy God caused me to find. And Isaac said unto him, Come near, that I may feel thee, my son, if thou art my son Esau or not. So Isaac's kind of questioning. And Jacob went near to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is Jacob's voice, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he discerned him not, because it was a dispensation from heaven. So God hated Esau. He blessed Jacob. Abraham blessed Jacob. Rebekah blessed Jacob. Isaac was being stupid and stubborn. So Isaac was blinded. He didn't discern it, because it was from heaven, to remove his power of perception, and Isaac discerned it not. For his hands were hairy as his brother Esau, so that he blessed him. See? Now Isaac was righteous in all things, but this thing right here was an issue with Isaac and with Jacob and Esau. And he said, Art thou my son Esau? And he said, I am thy son. And he said, Bring near to me, that I may eat of that which thou hast caught, my son, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And Isaac his father said unto him, Come near and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and he blessed him, and said, Behold, the smell of my son is as the smell of a full field, which Yahuwah hath blessed. May Yahuwah give thee of the dew of heaven, and of the dew of the earth, and plenty of corn and oil. Let nations serve thee, and peoples bow down to thee. That's going to happen. That's the end times blessing. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. That's between him and Esau. And may all the blessings wherewith Yahuwah hath blessed me, and blessed Abraham my father, be imparted to thee and to thy seed forever. Cursed be he that curses thee, and blessed be he that blesses thee. They use that for the fake state over there now. No, this is for real Israel. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing his son Jacob, and Jacob had gone forth from Isaac his father, he hid himself. And Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also made savory meat, and brought it to his father, and said unto his father, Let my father arise, and eat of my venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, Who art thou? And he said unto him, I am thy firstborn, thy son Esau. I have done as thou hast commanded me. And Isaac was very greatly astonished, and said, Who is he that hath hunted and caught and brought it to me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. And he shall be blessed, and all his seed forever. And it came to pass, when Esau heard the words of his father Isaac, that he cried with an exceeding great and bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, father. And he said unto him, Thy brother came with guile, and hath taken away thy blessing. And he said, Now I know why his name is Jacob. Behold, he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me, father? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, So he said, Jacob came with guile. He didn't know Rebekah had commanded him to do that, and that Abraham blessed him, and the blessing was from heaven. So Jacob. They'll take that and twist it all sort of. Look, Jacob wasn't a righteous man. He was a usurper. No. Wrong. So Jacob. Heel holder, supplanter. And you know what? Let me pull that up. Where's that at? Jacob at? Let's see. Genesis 25-26. Oh, it's on the same page. I'm doing that this morning. So Yitzhak, Yaakov. So this is the Hebrew Halot, Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament. So Yaakov. Yeah, Jacob was renamed Yisrael. To protect, God protect. Maybe I'll stick with the simpler thing. Taking hold of the hill. This is Jusinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon. Supplanter. So yeah, he grabbed Jacob's heel as he was coming out. but yeah, he gets renamed anyways. So, blessing. Okay, blessing for Esau. Behold, I have made him thy master, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with plenty of corn and wine and oil have I strengthened him. Misspelled. And what now shall I do for thee, my son? And Esau said to Isaac his father, Hast thou but one blessing, O father? Bless me, even me also, father. So this is a big deal when your parent blesses you, or if they curse you. And Esau, especially if they're a righteous parent. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept, which people don't do that these days, I don't think. Maybe they do. And Isaac answered and said unto him, Behold, far from the dew of the earth shall be thy dwelling, and far from the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword wilt thou live, and thou wilt serve thy brother. So pretty much Edom inherited a land that was not Israel. Israel got the choicest land. So he's going to have a land that's not Israel. By thy sword wilt thou live, and thou wilt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou becomest great, and dost shake his yoke from off thy neck, thou wilt sin a complete sin unto death, and thy seed will be rooted out from under heaven. That's pretty rough. And we see later on that Esau came to kill Jacob. Jacob killed him. And Esau kept threatening Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And he said in his heart, May the days of mourning for my father now come, so that I may slay my brother Jacob. So there's Cain all over again. So Latin here, Samaritan, Pentateuch, LXX, and Vulgate in Genesis 27:27, so it matches Jubilees. The Masoretic text omits it. The same people that got rid of Jubilees omit it from the Masoretic text. A lot of funny business going on. Samaritan Torah matches Jubilees, Genesis. So, up to 27. Cool. I think I'll stop there. Good study. Praise Yah. Hope this was a blessing and helpful to you. And, I like studying the Word, so I like sharing with the body, studying together. And, that'll work. Y'all have a good, whoever's keeping the 7th day Sabbath today, have a good rest of the Sabbath. And, see y'all later. God bless you. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, I like doing that too. I'm no Levite, but I like saying the thing. Number 6. Right? Always forget where it's at. Oh, I remember this time. Yahuwah bless you and keep you. Yahuwah make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace.